Dear students, this is a third lecture from my side. Actually, in your TYBSc Botany semester 3rd, Computational Botany paper 6th is there, and from that one we have to today learn unit 1st, Introduction to Biostatistics. From this unit 1st, under the Introduction to Biostatistics, today we are going to get idea about scope and applications of biostatistics. Friend, first you could have to understand exact definition of biostatistics. Biostatistics is nothing but use of a statistical techniques to solve the biological problems or applications of a statistical techniques to solve the biological problems. So here we can understand we have to apply the statistical techniques to solve the biological problems. Whenever there is a problem in the biology, in case of collected data, in case of use, number of observations are there. From that one we have to come to conclusion by analyzing that data with the help of a biostatistical techniques. Here, first we have to get idea of scope of biostatistics. Biostatistics are the development and applications of statistical methods to a wide range of topics in a biology. So we know that there is a wide range of topics in the biology, and in most, or we have to say that in each and every actually topic in biology, we can use or apply the statistical technique or methods. So scope of biostatistics we have understood. Without biostatistic techniques we cannot come to the conclusion about the whatever experiments we have carried out in biology, specifically we will say in botany. So it encompasses the design of a biological experiments. Where is the scope to the biostatistics? So for the designing of a biological experiment, again the collection and analysis of data from those experiments and interpretation of the results. So from very beginning of the setting of experiment, after setting the experiment, how to collect the or which method is to be used, which tool is used, which technique is statistical used to collect the data, again analyze the data from those experiments, and again interpretation of these results or inference of the. So there is also we have to say that scope of a biostatistics. So most of the students of the botany or every students of the botany should have the skill to use the biostatistical techniques. Now, second most important point from this unit is that applications of biostatistics. As we have seen, wide range of biology is there. So many more disciplines of the biology are there. In each and every discipline of biology, there is a use of a biostatistical techniques are there or applications of biostatistics there. Here, first we have taken the branch that is in a pharmacology. In a pharmacology. Again in ecology, and third one that is the in population in population genetics and statistical genetics. fourth one in bioinformatics, fifth one in agriculture, sixth one in physiology and anatomy, and seventh one in genetics. So we have only taken the seven branches which are related to our botany subject all are, and there we have to use biostatistics methods or techniques to come to the inference or to come to the conclusions. So pharmacology is there. We know that we have been studying the plants which are having a, we have to say that, lot of importance in the medicines. So that is nothing but the pharmacology. In ecology, in population genetics and statistical genetics, in bioinformatics, in agriculture, in physiology and anatomy, and in genetics. Now in detail we will see how this biostatistics is useful in these various disciplines of a, we have to say that, the biology. Here applications of biostatistics in pharmacology. In pharmacology we know that study of a drug is there, isn't it, to find out action of a drug. So just to find out the action of drug means how much percentage that is useful, isn't it? So to find out exact action of drug that is related with the health of the human being, or we have to say that the in the time of making a medicines for the animals. So to find out the action of drug, applications of biostatistics is there to compare the action of the two different drugs and again dosages. So we know that we have to compare the action which actually, suppose there are the two drugs which are useful to cure the one injury, but out of that one which is a very, we have to say that, useful fast one, or speedily cures that injury, or so that to compare the action of two different drugs is possible with the help of a biostatistics. And quantity, dosage, how many doses are to be required just to cure that injury or cure that disease, isn't it? So definitely, so there is a biostatistics is going to help to compare the action of the two different drugs and dosages. Again, to find out the relative potency of new drugs. Suppose new drug is developed by the uh, clinicians, or we have to say that the scientists or inventors, we have to say that. So potency of that new drugs, how much potency having with that drugs, that can be find out by using these biostatistics techniques. So in applications of biostatistics in pharmacology, to find out the action of drug, to compare the action of a two different drugs and their dosage, again to find the relative potency of a new drugs is there. Now, applications of biostatistics in ecology. We know that ecological pyramids are there, biological pyramids are there. So, in constructing of a biological pyramids, ecological pyramids, again calculating of a total energy content in different trophic levels of that pyramids is, we can uh, we can use the statistical techniques there also to, we have to say that, calculate a total energy content in a different tropic levels, isn't it? Now second, that is effect of a climate change and other environmental impacts on ecological communities. We know that actually many more such a type of things are being happening in the world itself, or in the history of the world, we have to say that. So there is no, right now the dinosaur species is there. Most of times we hear that the most of the plants are in a endangered situation condition, in the sense, on the, we have to say that, way of the going to lose their life from the earth planet. So like that things are there. So that is because of a change in the climate, because climate is not suitable for the survival of a specific plant species, and because of that is a extinction of a plant species is going to take place. But why or how that things are going to happen, which things are responsible, which climatic change is responsible to extinct the plant species, that we can find means effect of climatic change and other environmental also impacts on ecological communities, on living organisms. We can study, we can understand prior to losing the valuable plant species is possible with the help of a biostatistics. And again we can make the policy, isn't it, we can make the policy how to conserve these valuable plants. So very important this computational botany paper is there for TYBSc. And again most important things, that is a biostatistical techniques. Here applications of statistics in population genetics and statistical genetics. So link variations in genotypes with variation in a phenotype, that we can find with the help of a biostatistics. Then study distributions and change in all frequency as a population is subjected to the natural selection, genetic drift, mutation and gene flows. So in case of natural selection, isn't it, in case of genetic drift, in case of mutation, that is sudden changes, and in case of gene flow also we can understand with the help of a statistical techniques. Now statistical genetics development and applications of a statistical method for drawing a inferences from the genetic data. With the help of a genetic data we can come to understand what the things are going to happen. We know that we are going to say that the specific disease is a genetic one, for example diabetes, isn't it, then either that is a genetical, or we have to say that because of stresses that developed into a specific human being. So that we can understand with the help of getting a drawing a inferences from the genetic data, previous data of that organism. Biological genetist tends to collaborate with the lab genetist. Here actually word is a genetist, you have to keep in mind this one, genetist is there. Molecular biologists, clinicians and bioinformaticians. So the scientists, those who have been working in a various labs, suppose genetician is there, molecular biologist is there, clinicians, bioinformatics. So they tend to collaborate with each other. So that is a biological genetist tends to collaborate with the lab genetist, molecular biologist, uh, clinicians and bioinformatics. Here the applications of biostatistics in bioinformatics. Friends, you have to keep in mind bioinformatics, that is nothing but here the use of computer is there, isn't it, use of a computer technology in a, we have to say that biology. For example I will tell to you, we know that we are using this computer technology just to calculate the number of genes present in a specific plant. That is possible, again gene mapping, all sort of the things for that one the scientists right now taking help of a computer. So that is nothing but the bioinformatics, in the sense not only the computer, but we have to say that the data collected previously or already by some fellows. For example I will say to you, suppose the uh, genes present in a specific plant are there, that are already studied by one of the scientists. So that data is stored, isn't it, and that stored data can be used by another scientist with the help of accessing that data. And with the help of a computer we have to say that, with the help of a, we have to say search engines are there, we have to search all these things. Is it somebody has done work on the genetic level or molecular level, so that information we can get access, and accordingly we will be able to come to the inferences, the specific genes. So here we can find in biological sequence analysis, assign the functions to the genes and proteins by study of a similarities between the compared sequence. So here very easy, that which gene is responsible for synthesis of a which type of a protein, isn't it? Responsible for the synthesis of a specific protein. Suppose we have found in one plant and another fellow immediately come to know that specific gene is present in a another plant, so definitely that gene group is responsible for synthesis of a same protein. So comparison here is possible with the help of a, so here biostatistics in bioinformatics also going to help. Now applications of a biostatistics in agriculture. We know that in agriculture field, the agriculturalist develops a new variety qualitatively and quantitatively, which are having a new one varieties are developed by the scientist, isn't it? By the horticulturalist, by the, we have to say, agriculturalist. So this variety means there is a improvement in the crop plant. So in crop plant improvement work, this biostatistics having a lot of importance. In agriculture works, the decisions as to whether one variety of the crop is better than the other will be made on the results of a carefully planned a series of statistical experiments. So to design the experiment, isn't it? To design the specific experiment to find out the which crop variety is better, isn't it? And designing of experiment, various way how to experiments are to be designed, statistical point of view, and then finally we have to come to the conclusion. Means first of all, use of statistics to design the experiment. After designing experiment, collection of a observations, after collection, analysis of that observations, and finally with the help of that observations we have to come to the conclusion. And that conclusion is nothing but the which variety is superior as compared to which variety that we can made with the help of a. So there is a lot of importance of this biostatistics in agriculture field for each and every experimental work. Now the applications of a biostatistics in genetics, most important, we know that we are hearing one of the most important word, that is a mapping of a genes, isn't it? So mapping of a genes on a chromosomes means, again, for mapping of a chromosomes is nothing but the mapping of a genes on the chromosomes. So map is to be developed, which is useful to us, useful to the human being in a future for many things, in point of view for removing the difficulty, removing the some disease causing, we have to say that the specific genes which are not working, non-functional gene that can be repaired. So there also mapping of a chromosome, mapping of a gene is going to help. Now the study the inheritance patterns of the gene, isn't it? Pattern is to be studied. Now that pattern study of inheritance of a genes will help us to understand the which type of disease is, we have to say that, inherited from previous generations. And once we come to know that, suppose non-functional genes can be removed, and that if suppose we succeed to remove the non-functional gene and again we succeed to repair that non-functional gene and add or introduce into that one a very functional gene, so that things are, we have to say that, on future point of view very well to the human being, just to cure the disease internally, not necessary to take the, we have to say that, the medicines often and often. Essential for the study of Mendelian genetics for the studying the genetic structure of the population. So that is most important. We have to say that in point of view, actually studying the genetics structure of the population. We know that Mendel has given a three, we have to say that, laws to us, and that laws depend upon Definitely the statistical analysis. He has collected huge data, and that huge data is analyzed. After analyzing that data, he come to the results, come to the inferences, conclusions, isn't it? So biostatistical, most of biostatistic tools and techniques used there. Studying the behavior of a gene in a population. Most important point is that suppose population is there and specific gene is, we have to say that. So behavior of that gene could be studied with the help of a, we have to say that the biostatistics. Thanks lot, my friends. This is our I think fourth lecture, but first lecture uh, actually we have for the actual syllabus we have started to learn, and today we have learned the part of a unit first, that is introduction to biostatistics, and from that one today we have studied scope and applications of biostatistics. Friends, you will have to pay pay attention toward all these things, because unless and until you could understand the basic meanings of each and every word, terminology of each and every terms of each and every, you will not be able to understand the statistics very well. So with this, thanks lot once